All right, hello everyone. Welcome to week number 5. We have a lot to go over, so I'm gonna kind of get trucking here. We have this week the persuasive speech, a big speech coming up. We have the persuasive outline. Basically, you're going to download the preparation outline and fill in your entire speech. Word for word, it's gonna be on there. You're gonna know exactly what you're gonna say before you're gonna say it. And then you'll upload that to the Dropbox. And then you also have discussion post number 5, which is just, a discussion post for the week. So what we want to basically talk about today is obviously the persuasive speech. What I wanted to do first is I wanted to just give a rundown of all the topics that we're covering. If I skip you, I'm just going to ramble through them. But I just think you're such a fun, just class with such a variety that I just want to give you a taste of what to expect for the persuasive speech. So if I can do this quickly, we have exercise routines, gluten-free umbilical cords, pit bull terriers, active lifestyle, personal hygiene, casual exercise, helping the elderly, donating blood, animal abuse, writing as a coping mechanism, illegal music, musical instruments, bottled water, cell phones and cars, liking a sports team, nails biting, organic food, Subway, The Voice, eating right, Austin Gate, animal adoption, road rage, music industry, earlier mammograms, school admissions, organ donation, cruises, smoking bans, Pilates, water impoverished areas, vaccinations, Black Hills vacations, drinking age, hunting, recycling, Stargate Atlantis, proficiency exam, art education, hiking, being involved in sports, bullying laws, and Barbies. So we have a lot going on, and we have a lot of awesome topics, so I'm so excited for this speech. So what I'm going to do today is I've uploaded a preparation outline example, which is really nice because basically it's exactly how you'll do yours. I just have my speech flooded in there. Well, today I have my speech. It's written out on a piece of paper. Do not do this. Do not do this. I'm giving you 5 note cards, and basically each note card, we have the intro, the conclusion, and then 1, 2, 3, the mini theses. But ironically enough, your intro and conclusion should be completely memorized. So when you stand here and you give the conclusion, you're not going to have your note card up in front of you. It should be memorized. That's how you get the strong delivery points there. Also, your introduction needs a strategy. So what that means is you're not just going to get up here and say, hey, what's up? I'm Katie, and this is my speech. There should be something. And in the PowerPoint, which you absolutely have to look at this week to do well in this speech, it gives you different strategies. There's rhetorical questions. You can tell a story. You can give a statistic, a startling statistic. It just needs to be something to start your speech out aside from this is my thesis and my 3 mini theses. So what I'm going to be doing today is basically just reading through this, and then I'm going to be stopping a lot and saying this is exactly what you need to do for the rubric, basically how to get those points. Another thing I will be doing is reading completely off this, because between my internship, grading for this class, and my 3 other courses I'm taking, I don't have time to perfect a speech and give it to you. And that would be no fun anyway, because then most of you would just kind of copy maybe what I did. So that's not the point of this. The point is to basically I'm going to read through a speech and then stop and intervene and tell you the stuff in the rubric that you need to be paying attention. So again, with the note cards, I'll do a little note card etiquette, by the way. Sorry, I'm in this kind of weird room in my attic. When you hold note cards, people typically like to have both their hands on them and like to be really snug in here and read off them like this. Well, that's not good because you're using the note cards as like this little shield to not feel so vulnerable. Well, that's what I think anyways. So what you want to do is, the rule is when you're using your note cards, because on the rubric you get points for having your hands by your sides. You're still going to want to do that. So when you use a note card, you're going to lift it up, read off it, and put it right back down. Both of your hands should never touch your note card unless you're flipping your note card. So pull it up when you need it, put it back down, speak to your audience. Pull it up when you need it, put it back down, speak to your audience. Again, in that intro and conclusion, you are not going to use your note cards. You're going to stand like this and strongly and confidently deliver your entire introduction. If your introduction is super long, that's probably not a good thing if you have a hard time memorizing. So cut it down. It doesn't have to be long. A little something, thesis and mini theses, and then kind of transition. So I'm just going to start my speech here, and we're just going to kind of see how it goes. Again, don't read off the way I'm going to. Don't just have a piece of paper. Have your note cards. This is just to sort of serve as an example for you, so you can all hopefully do super well. So let's start this baby out. Again, your introduction, you're going to be standing in the middle. Again, there's a part on the rubric that's called intentional movement, and that is going to be following what's called the speaker's triangle. Okay, so we got a triangle, And what basically happens is your intro's in the middle, you take a step over here for your first point, you take another step to the middle for your second point, you take another step over for your third point, and then you take a step back again for the conclusion. And you'll see me do that. It's very, very simple, very, very easy points, so please do it. Okay, so again, I'm starting in the middle with my introduction. Do you remember when you were 5? Well, when I was 5, Disney movies were a huge part of my life. In fact, I think I watched one every afternoon. I watched a few of them so many times I think I could recite the whole thing by heart. But as I grew up, I realized the world around me was not really the way Disney told me it would be. Disney gives people unrealistic expectations. That's my thesis. It's strongly stated and it's a full sentence and it's less than 7 words. Disney gives unrealistic expectations of women, Disney gives unrealistic expectations of men, and Disney gives unrealistic expectations of love. Now for my first point, Disney gives unrealistic expectations of women. Okay, so here's going to be a little bit of a tough part. There's these things on the rubric called internal preview and internal review. Now, this makes a lot of sense if you look at the outline, so we should probably just pull it up on your computer right now and look at it. So what I just did is I did my intro, I did my thesis and my mini theses, and then I said, and now for my first point, Disney gives unrealistic expectations of women. You basically preview your first point and mini thesis. So that's what I did, I previewed it. Then I come over here and I'm going to say the bulk of my information. When I'm done, I'm going to say, and that is how Disney gives us unrealistic expectations of women. And that's called an internal review. So this is how the whole speech is going to go. You preview it, this is what I'm going to talk about, you talk about it, and then you review it. This is what I just told you. And now I'll move on to my second point. So follow along with that as I continue to go here. It's a little confusing, it'll make more sense with the PowerPoint and the outline. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my first point. And now for my first point, Disney gives us unrealistic expectations of women. Have you ever noticed that Disney princess's hair is always perfect? Take Ariel, for example. She's swimming around in the ocean, and when she pops up, she looks like a movie star. I pop up swimming in the ocean, I look similar to a drowned rat, or potentially even the Exorcist child with mascara running down my face. Now my little brother Scotty stated, my sister always used to spend hours in front of the mirror in the bathroom making us late for school. Disney princesses always looked perfect. They had perfect hair, they had perfect skin, bodies. My little brother really shouldn't have blamed me. He should have blamed Disney for hogging the bathroom and making him late. Disney also represented Disney princesses' bodies in a very unrealistic way. I mean, come on. A size 0 waist with huge eyes. They had huge eyes. So now that I've talked about how Disney gives unrealistic expectations of women, that's my review. I don't know why I whisper. I'll move to my second point. Disney gives unrealistic expectations of men. So we understand most guys aren't royalty and don't just magically pop up. But what about the way they act? Prince Charming is willing to do anything for his princess. According to the article Princess Today by Julie Beckwin, an English professor at UNL. Okay, so what I did there is I orally cited something. You have to tell me where your information is coming from. This comes straight from your ABIBs. So the article, the author, and something that makes the author credible. So do you notice that I said Julie Beckwin, that's the author, an English professor from UNL, that's what makes her credible, and then in the article Princess Today. So you have to do more than just saying from wikipedia.com. Please do not cite from Wikipedia. It does not count as a good source. Instead, you have to orally cite it, and there's 3 things that make something basically, yeah, good. So, moving on. According to the article Princess Today by Julie Beckwin, an English professor at UNL, a real Prince Charming would slay dragons. A real Prince Charming would search the whole town to return your lost shoe. And a real princess would even pick you up on a magic carpet. Today, women are lucky to get the door open for them. And that is how Disney gives unrealistic expectations of men. Now for my third point, Disney gives unrealistic expectations of love. As Mary Talluli, a New York journalist, states in her Yorker article, I feel totally justified in believing that a singing duet leads to both everlasting love and a perfectly choreographed dance number soon to come. Disney makes out love to be a very simple thing, when most of us know love is all but simple. According to New Statements Journal article by statesman Nicholas Swapshot, about half of all first marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. I think it's clear that love and marriage are by no means as easy and carefree as Disney movies make it appear. And that is how Disney gives unrealistic expectations of love. Now you'll move to your conclusion, back to the middle. Today I've told you 3 reasons that Disney movies mislead us. Disney gives unrealistic expectations. Sorry, don't put your finger up, that's your thesis. Disney gives unrealistic expectations of women, Disney gives unrealistic expectations of men, and Disney gives unrealistic expectations of love. I hope that you all thought about Disney movies in a different way today. Disney makes us expect women to have perfect hair and bodies. They will find a perfect prince who looks and acts perfectly, and they will both live perfectly happily ever after. So maybe Disney should make a more realistic movie. A movie about a princess who dates 7 million jerks until she finally becomes Facebook official with one who is completely wrong for her. Now that may be more realistic, but let's face it, how many of us would go see that movie? And then what you'll do is, as unawkwardly as possible, and it's probably just going to be awkward the way it is, go out to the camera and show me your note cards and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to like prove it to me. If you want to say like, what's up, Katie? Hi, you can. If you don't want to, if you just want to do it and shut the camera off, that's fine too. Just, yeah, you're done. So that's kind of just a general idea of what this speech should look like. Again, you'll notice in my conclusion, I restated my thesis and mini theses exactly as they were stated in the introduction. That conclusion, again, needs to be strong, it needs to be memorized, and basically perfect to get all of those points. You'll notice that my body stance is, my weight is, here, it's not shifting to the sides. We get nervous and we start doing weird things, and, it's normal, and hopefully you guys see that on your own videos and think, oh, maybe I should try to stand a little more still. The only other thing I wanted to say is this is not how I truly believe that Disney has just doomed us all to not do well with relationships, and that it's silly, and it's a very lighthearted, just funny, random speech I came up with once. So don't take it seriously. I by no means think Disney has made relationships more difficult, and I'm by no means a relationship expert. So that's just sort of a side note. As far as the speech goes, if you have any other questions, like I always say, just go ahead and email me. It does need to be 4 to 5 minutes long. There's 15 seconds leeway on both sides, however. So 3:45 to 5:15 I will accept. Otherwise, it's 10% off. If you hand it in late, it's 10% per day that it's late I take off, which really stinks and starts adding up because then I grade down from there. And then if you do not have audience members, it is also 20% off. Some of you are really funny and will introduce your audience members, which you have no idea how much I enjoy that. If you want to introduce your audience members, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm so excited. The list was just fantastic of topics. So email me with questions. I may watch this again and think, oh crud, I forgot. I totally dropped the ball and didn't explain this thing on the rubric. Speaking of that, your conclusion also needs a strategy, and that's something that's different. So the intro needs something extra, the conclusion needs something extra. But like I said, if you are looking at that PowerPoint, if you are looking at the assignment under content, I completely explain everything for you. And those of you who do email me, you know that I really get back to you as quick as I can, and I try to help you out as best I can. Even if you have a question, are my thesis and mini theses good, Katie? Email me. I love that. I love helping you out because those are easy points. So I want you all to get them. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. I will see you later.